Rahman Rahim, Math Grade 6. We are in Chapter 9, Lesson 4, Change Dimensions. So our lesson today, changes in dimensions. Changes in dimensions. So with me, watch with me now this video.
Chapter 9, Lesson 4, Changes in Dimension. When the dimensions of a polygon are multiplied by some number x, then the perimeter of the polygon changes by that number times the perimeter. For example, the perimeter of figure A would be 4 plus 4 plus 6. 6 plus 4 gives us 10. 10 plus another 4 gives us 14. The perimeter of figure B would be 8 plus 8 plus 12. 12 plus 8 gives us 20. 20 plus 8 more gives us 28. If we notice, each side in figure A is twice the amount in figure B. So this side in figure B is 8, and this side in figure A is 4. So the one in figure B is 2 times greater than the one in figure A. This side is 4, and this side in figure B is 2. So that's also 2 times greater. The bottom of the triangle is 6 in figure A, and the bottom of the triangle is 12 in figure B. So that's also 2 times the size. So the dimensions of polygon A are multiplied by a factor of 2 to get to figure B. So the perimeter is also multiplied by 2 to get from figure A to figure B. When the side lengths of the parallelogram below are quadrupled, what effect would this have on the perimeter? So to be quadrupled, that means to be multiplied by 4. So if each side of the polygon was multiplied by 4, then the perimeter would also be multiplied by 4. So if we call this figure A, we have sides 2 and 3. If we had a figure B where the sides of the parallelogram are quadrupled, let's see what our perimeter would be. So this side, which is 2 inches, would be quadrupled, or times 4, which would be 8. And this side, which is 3 inches, would also be quadrupled, or times 4, which gives us 12. So the perimeter of figure A is 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3, because this side is also 2, and this side is also 3. So this gives us 5 plus 5, which equals a perimeter of 10. This parallelogram, figure B, has perimeter 12 plus 8 plus 12 plus 8, because this side would also be 12, and this side would also be 8. So this gives us 20 plus 20, which equals 40. So from the perimeter in figure A, which is 10, to the perimeter in figure B, which is 40, the perimeter quadrupled, or is 4 times greater. Therefore, we can say that the perimeter would be 4 times greater. When the side lengths of the parallelogram below are tripled, what effect would this have on the perimeter? Try this one yourself to check for understanding. When the dimensions of a polygon are multiplied by some number x, then the area of the polygon changes by x times x, or that number squared. For example, in figure A, we have an area of 6 times 3, which gives us 18. In figure B, we have an area of 12 times 6, which gives us an area of 72. The dimensions from figure A to figure B are 2 times greater, so 6 was multiplied by 2 to get 12, and 3 was multiplied by 2 to get 6. So because it's 2 times greater, the area from figure A to figure B is 2 squared times greater. 2 squared is equal to 4 times greater. So let's check if that's true. 18 times 4 gives us 32, and then 72. So 18 times 4 gives us 72. Example 2. The lengths of the rectangle below are multiplied by 6. What effect would this have on the area? So let's call this figure A. Our area is 5 times 2, which is 10. So if we had a figure B would have lengths that are multiplied by 6 from figure A. So 2 times 6 would give us 12. And 5 times 6 would give us 30. So figure B would have an area of 30 times 12. This gives us 360. So our sides increased by 6 times the amount, so the areas should have increased by 6 squared the amount. 6 squared is equal to 36 times greater. So let's see if 10 times 36 gives us 360. So 10 times 36 gives us 360. So the area also increased by 6 squared the amount, or 36 times the amount. So the area increased by 6 squared times the amount, or 36 times the amount, because 6 squared is equal to 36. Try this one yourself to check for understanding. The lengths of the triangle below are multiplied by 5. What effect would this have on the area?
Okay. Our lesson today, changes in dimensions. Today we want to learn what's the meaning of changes in dimension. What's the meaning of changing dimensions? Okay. As you see here, put your voice in mute, please, and listen. Put your voice in mute and listen. As you see here, we have two figures, the small one and the big one. What's the meaning of dimension. Dimension means
أنا بروح أشوف الحصة إذا بدأت وبعدين إذا بدأت
so what's the meaning of dimension? Dimension means length, width, height. This is the meaning of dimensions. So change in dimensions means we have a change in the length or in the width or in the height. So look to this side. This is a change to this side. So will be greater than. How? Multiply by number. Multiply by number. I don't know the value for this number because this is just for explain. So I write x. So multiply by x. If this side multiply by x will be this side, and this side multiply by x will be this side, and this side multiply by x will be this side. This is the meaning of changing in dimension. طيب, see with me now this video.
Today's lesson is changes in dimension. First, we really need to talk about what is perimeter. Perimeter is when you add up all the sides. So if you have a triangle, you add all 3 sides. Quadrilaterals, you add all 4. But that part's nothing new. Now we're talking about changing dimensions. So let's say I have a square or a rectangle, and I know that the perimeter is, let's say this is 5, 5, 2, and 2. So it's 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So P equals 14. If the scale factor increased by scale factor of 2, so I double every side. So if I double this side, this side, this side, and this side, I now have 10, 4, 4, 10, which is P equals 28. So the rule here is when you increase the side by a scale factor of something, the perimeter increases that much too. So what I would say is perimeter changes with the scale factor. You're going to find this by multiplying by scale factor. Multiply P times, not scale factor, sorry. Yeah, scale factor. Multiply the P, perimeter, times scale factor. And that's how you find the change in perimeter. Area is a little more tricky. Let's say I have a triangle. I'm not going to do triangle. No, I'm not. Triangles are too hard. A square. Let's go with a rectangle. If I have a rectangle, let's do the same rectangle. 5, 5, 2, and 2. Area equals, well, for this one, it's length times width. Or base times height. So it's 5 times 2, which is 10. Let's say I double the size of my rectangle, just like I did a minute ago, and I make these 4 and these 10. I increased by a scale factor of 2.
So 5 times 2 is 10, 2 times 2 is 4. My area is now 40. So it is not increased by the scale factor. Here's the rule. When I'm comparing area of 10 and the area of 40. What it is it's the area of the original multiplied by scale factor squared. So for this one, it was 5 times 2 was the area, that was 10, times the scale factor of 2, this was the SF, squared. So 2 squared equals 2. This right here means 2 times 2, which is 4. And 5 times 2 was 10. And 10 times 4 is 40. So this is the rule for change in area. Change in area with a scale factor. Here are some formulas to know. The area formula for squares and rectangles is length times width. It's just side times side. Triangles is a little more tricky. You do, I wrote the wrong one. It's base times height divided by 2. So it's B times H, and then divide that by 2.
So our lesson today is changing in dimensions. Means if we have any figure and we have a change in length and height and width, what's happened in the perimeter and in the area? We want to study now 2 cases. The first one, changing dimensions, effect on perimeter. If the dimension of a polygon are multiplied by x, then the perimeter of the polygon changes by a factor of x. As you see here, we have figure 1, F1. We have a triangle, the first side 3, then 4, then 5. We will change in the dimension. So I will multiply by 2. 3 multiplied by 2, 3 multiplied by 2 will be 6. 4 multiplied by 2 will be 8. 5 multiplied by 2 will be 10. So I have now a new figure. This is F2. So this is doubled. The F1 multiplied by 2 means doubled. Now I want to study what happened in perimeter when I double the figure 1 and I get the figure 2. But let us to solve the perimeter 1, P1. As you know, perimeter for all for all figure, you can just add the all sides. You can just add the all sides. So here I can write 5 plus 3 plus 4. 5 plus 3 plus 4 equal 12. And the second figure here, 6 plus 8 plus 10, or 10 plus 6 plus 8. 10 plus 6 plus 8 equal 24. Now, compare between the answers, P1 and P2. We have 12 and 24. As you know, 24 equal 12 times 2. 12 times 2. So P2 greater than 2 times P1. So I can write P2 equal 2 times P1. So this is the change in the perimeter. This is the change in the perimeter. P2 equal 2 times B1. The second case, changing dimensions effect on area. If the dimensions of a polygon are multiplied by x, then the area of the polygon changes by x. Multiplied by x means x squared or x exponent 2. طيب. In figure 1 here we have a square. The side here, the value of this side equal 4. If I double it, this figure, what happened to the area? What is the change in the area if we double it the side here? Now 4 multiplied by 2, 4 multiplied by 2 will be 8. Will be 8. So this is the new figure here, F2. After I double it, F1. Now I want to study what. Yes.
السلام عليكم أستاذ. أنا سالم هداف المنال grade 6A.
Okay, I want to study now. What's happened in the area when I change the side. What's happened in the area? طيب. Try to solve the area of the first figure. Area, as you know, area for the square, you can multiply the side by the side, or the side squared. The side squared. So take the side 4 squared, or 4 times 4 equals 16. So the area here 16. Try to find the area in the next figure. A2 equal 8 squared, or 8 times 8 will be 64. Now, as you know, now, the 16 times 4 equal 64. 16 times 4 equal 64. Means, what's the meaning of 4? 4 means 2 exponent 2. 4 means 2 exponent 2. So what happened? I multiply the length by 2. So when I solve the area, I find here 2 squared, then multiply by the last figure. So what is the change in the area? A2 equal 2 exponent 2, the change in the dimension, multiply by the area of the first figure. This is the change in the area. This is the change in the area. So as you see here, when I change the dimension, the perimeter will be changed in the same ratio. But when I change the dimension, the area will be changed in a different ratio, with a change in the squared ratio. Let us to continue and see with me these examples. Example 1. Each side length is doubled. What's the meaning of doubled? يعني means multiply by 2. Means multiply by 2. Describe the change in the perimeter. So now I want to study the perimeter. The first step, I have this figure 1. Here we have 4, here we have 5, here we have 6, for example. What's the meaning of doubled? Multiply the dimension here by 2. So 6 multiplied by 2 will be 12. 4 multiplied by 2 will be 8. 5 multiplied by 2 will be 10. So I have now new figure F2. هلا Try now to find the perimeter in the figure 1. As you know, perimeter in any figure, I can just add all sides. So I can write here 4 plus 6 plus 5. 4 plus 6 plus 5 will be 15. And in the second figure, perimeter 2 or P2 equal perimeter 2 equal 8 plus 12 plus 10. 8 plus 12 plus 10 equal 30. When you compare between 30 and 50, as you know, 50 multiplied by 2, 50 multiplied by 2 equal what? Equal 30. That means F2 or P2 equal 2 times the P1. So when I change the dimension here multiplied by 2 or doubled, the perimeter will be doubled. The perimeter will be doubled. So this is the change in the dimension affects the perimeter. The second example, each side length is trebled. Trebled means multiply by 3. Trebled means multiply by 3. Describe the change in the area. In the figure 1 here, as you see, we have 3 sides here, 4, 3, and 5. Now try to double the dimension. 5 multiplied by 3 will be 15. 3 multiplied by 3 will be 9. 4 multiplied by 3 will be 12. So I have now a new figure here with a new sides. We have 9 and 15 and 12. I want now what is the change in the area. So find the area of the first triangle, then find the area of the next triangle, then compare between the result. As you know, here we have a triangle. The area of triangle will be 1 over 2 multiplied by the base multiplied by the height. So A1 equal 1 over 2 multiplied by the base. The base here will be 3 multiplied by the height. The height here will be what? Will be 4. Now, how to solve? 3 times 4, 12. 12 divided by 2 will be 6. So the area in the F1 in the figure 1 will be 6. Now try to find the area in the next figure. A2 equal 1 over 2 times the base times the height. So the base 9 and the height 12. Now you can here for easy way 12 divided by 2 will be 6. 6 times 9 will be 54. So the area here will be 54. Now compare between 54 and 6. See here 54 equal 9 times 6. 54 equal 9 times 6. And 9 equal 3 over 2. 3 exponent 2 and 9 equal 3 exponent 2. Multiply by 6. Multiply by 6. So what happened in the area? Take the change in dimension, then squared this number. So the change in the different ratio, the change in the squared ratio, the change in the squared ratio. So I can write now A2 equal 3 but exponent 2 multiplied by A1. Multiplied by A1 means A2 equal 9 times A1 greater than 9 times. A2, the second area, greater 9 times than the first area. This is the meaning of change in perimeter and change in the area. And here we have some videos. When you have free time, you can see these videos. And this is our lesson today. So now, who has a question now?
I have a question.
Yes. Tell me.
Example 1.
How do you know that figure 1 has the time which number? How do you know?
Please repeat your question, please.
If you figure how do you know what 2 times with figure 1? Figure 1 times figure 2. How do you know the number that you need to times with it, 2 or 3.
The question tell me trouble times 4 times 5. The question tell me what I do.
Okay.
Okay. Who has a question? So our lesson today. Our lesson today. Change in dimension. Changes or changing in dimensions. Right. See with me now this video.
Welcome to your McGraw-Hill Education Personal Tutor. Suppose the side lengths of the parallelogram at the right are doubled. What effect would this have on the perimeter? Justify your answer. First, let's think. What would a parallelogram double this parallelogram be? So the side lengths are doubled. So instead of 6 feet, this is going to have a length of 12 feet. And instead of 4, this would have a length of 8 feet. What is the perimeter of the original parallelogram? Well, to find our perimeter, we know that we're going to add each of the sides. Since we know that this side is the same as this side, and this side is the same as this side, we can go ahead and multiply 6 times 2, because we know there are 2 sides, plus 4 times 2, again, 2 sides. And that's 12 plus 8, or 20 feet. So that's the perimeter of that. We now need to find what the perimeter of the new parallelogram is. Again, we can multiply by 2, so we know 12 times 2 plus 8 times 2, because there are 2 side lengths that measure those measurements. So we have 12 times 2, that's 24, plus 16, or 40 feet. Well, now we need to compare, because this is the perimeter of that parallelogram. In comparing the perimeters, we know that 40 feet divided by 20 feet equals 2. So that tells us the perimeter of the new is 2 times the original. And that concludes your McGraw-Hill Education Personal Tutor.
In this example, I have parallelogram. This side 6 and this side 4. And the question tell me doubled. What's the meaning of doubled, Muhammad Ammar? What's the meaning of doubled? Means multiply by 2. Multiply by 2. 6 multiplied by 2 will be 12. 4 multiplied by 2 will be 8. Now, when I change in the dimensions here, what happens in the perimeter? I want to study the perimeter for each figure. For the first figure, the perimeter, as you know, add the all sides. So I can write 6 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4. Or I can write, because here 2 equal sides, I can write 2 times 6 plus 2 times 4. Because here equal here and here equal here. So 6 times 2 plus 4 times 2. 6 times 2, 12. 4 times 2 equal 8. 12 plus 8, 12 plus 8 equal 20. So the first perimeter here will be 20. In the second case, I can write 12 plus 8 plus 12 plus 8, or 2 times 12 plus 2 times 8. 2 times 12 will be 24, and 2 times 8 will be 16. 24 plus 16 will be 40. Now compare between the results here. Here we have 20, here we have 40. When we double the dimension, what happens in the perimeter? 40 equal 2 times 20. The perimeter doubled. Also perimeter doubled. This is the meaning of what is the effect in perimeter. What is the effect on perimeter? So this is our lesson today. Now let us to take the attendance, please. أحمد.
نعم مستر. مستر
حمد.
أنا هني.
أوكي. حمد الظاهري.
نعم مستر موجود.
مستر.
أوكي أحمد. أوكي. أوكي. حمدان العامري.
موجود.
مستر موجود.
حمدان الهجري. حمدان الهجري.
مستر انت خربطت، هذا مكان حمدان سالم.
اوكي موجود. حمدان الهجري. طيب.
مستر.
سالم هداف.
مستر سجلتني دخول.
احمد سجلتك دخول. اللي سمع اسمه بامكانه يغادر الحين. اللي سمع اسمه بامكانه يغادر.
موجود استاذ.
اوكي. عبد الرحمن.
مع السلامة استاذ. اشوفك مرة ثانية.
عبد الله التميمي.
موجود.
اوكي.
باي.
عبد الله ماهر.
موجود مستر موجود.
علي حمد. علي حمد الرمي. عيسى.
مستر.
عيسى.
موجود مستر.
لا.
موجود استاذ. موجود فلاح.
منصور احمد.
موجود مستر.
استاذ الحمد لله هاجر موجود استاذ. الحمد لله هاجر قبل شوي يتكلم استاذ.
اوكي. ميلاد. عفوا منصور نايف. منصور نايف. أبسنت. ميلاد. ميلاد.
موجود مستر موجود.
استاذ الحمد لله هاجر يقول لكم موجود.
الساع.
موجود الزاع.
استاذ عاد غادر.
يطلع اسمه يغادر.
استاذ محمد.
الفان.
موجود علي حمد.
الفان.
موجود.
الفان.
مستر موجود علي حمد.
موجود.
مستر علي حمد.
عيسى عبيد.
موجود.
استاذ حمدان علي موجود.
دويس.
استاذ
دويس.
موجود استاذ موجود.
ثياب.
موجود.
سالم جمعة.
موجود استاذ موجود.
سلطان.
محمد.
أبسنت. يس.
مستر انا مقصود نايف، خذيت حضوري.
اعطيتك غياب لأنه ناديت وما رديت. هلا بخطك حضور.
لا مستر.
استاذ الحمد لله هاجر من الصبح يتكلم انت ما سمعت استاذ.
طيب. سيف سالم. سيف سالم.
استاذ حمدان علي موجود.
اوكي حمدان. عبد الله محمد الجابري. عبد الله الجابري.
موجود استاذ موجود.
اوكي. فارس أحمد.
أستاذ ذات الحضور.
محمد سالم الراشدي.
موجود أستاذ موجود.
أوكي. محمد عبد العزيز.
موجود أستاذ.
تمام. محمد عمار.
موجود.
محمد عمر العامري.
موجود.
اوكي. منصور علي. اوكي ابسنت. طيب منصور محمد. محمد. اوكي. موسى.
طب أطلع.
اللي طلع اسمه يطلع. موسى ابسنت. طيب ناصر عبيد. ناصر. اوكي ناصر. اوكي. اوكي ناصر. اوكي.
سجلني حضور علي حمد.
علي حمد الرميثي ومنصور نايف. الحين اسجلكم حضور ان شاء الله.
مستر لأن في المايك علق.
موسى موجود. اوكي موسى. So this is our lesson today. Changing in dimensions. Thank you for your listening. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow inshallah. Or sorry, see you next week on Sunday inshallah. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.